very good morning to you, boys and girls. It's Sunday, the 3rd of February, 2019. On a sunny day, as it happens. They did say last night was going to be the coldest night of the year so far. I got to be honest, I got home last night around about 1:30 from after a clear run virtually all the way home until I got to this end, and there's a lot of ice and that on the snow at this end. And I didn't feel it was particularly cold, funnily enough, when I was walking from the car back to my house last night. But presumably it dipped very low in some places, -15. Is that right? If you're up there in Scotland. Oh, beautiful place. Go to the Highlands. If you ever want a nice, quiet holiday, go to that. Oh, that's annoying, isn't it? This is a new jacket. Anyone noticed yet? A nude? This is possibly the worst one I've got. This arrived yesterday. Actually, my neighbour took it in while I was on work while I was away in the caravan last week. And my neighbour took it in, and I knocked at his door. Got the card through the door last night. And he gave me the packet, and my mate was with me. And I said, open that for us while I was doing some lunch for us both. And he said, what is this? I said, that's my new jacket. He said, this has got to be your worst one. And I've got to be honest, I'm agreeing with him. It is so cheap. It's so cheap. But actually, I don't think it looks too bad. You need something outrageous for when you're doing these shows. You don't want to look normal. Normal people are, I'm sorry, they're boring people. Not as boring as millennials, but generally normal people are boring. So you've got to do something outrageous. The only thing is, which I've just realised now, it's got these awful buttons on it. And listen, every time I move something on I'm going to have to cut these off. I think I'm going to have to cut these off. These, look at these awful buttons, aren't they awful? Never mind. Well, here we are again on a Sunday morning. Who's early today? Shall I now? What can I do about that? Oh, I know. I've got a piece of cloth here. Well, this is part of the old background. Do you remember when we had this behind us and the camera couldn't cope with it? Could it? We put this. A camera kept jumping around all over the place. Right, let's put that on there just for now. And that has stopped me cuffs banging on the desk in front of me. There we are. That's better. And let's try. Look at that. Oh, it's not too bad now, is it? We can just about cope with that, I think, this time in the morning. After the show yesterday, my mate came over. He's been test driving a brand new car for a couple of days. A Mini. I think it's a Countryman. Quite not as small as the old Minis, because the new Minis are a little bit wider and bigger inside. So he was test driving a new Mini. Beautiful colour, I have to say. Racing green. Racing green. Lovely darkish greenish colour. I had a racing green car myself some years ago. It must be about 20, 25 years ago now. I had a VW Golf years and years ago, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I knew the bloke who was working as a salesman in the VW garage in Walton-on-Thames. And he said, come and get a VW. So I had a lot. Yeah, all right then. I choose the colour and all that. And then when it came, it had a little crest on the side. He'd arranged to have my crest. But I didn't even know I had one. Our crest was embossed in gold, like plasticky stuff on the side of the car. And I absolutely loved this VW Golf. And it was nippy and it was fast. At the time, I was much younger and I drove around a little bit too fast. Admittedly. And then the term of that stopped and I thought, well, I'll have another Golf. And I chose a bluey Golf. What colour blue would it have been? Sort of here we are, look, like this colour. That's, I suppose, no, it wasn't that colour. It wasn't anything like that colour. Like a dark blue version of a slightly darker like that. It wasn't that colour either. What colour was it? Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, it was blue. It was a nice colour blue. And I got it. Oh, and it was a nightmare. Electrical things kept going wrong with it. The doors would not lock. Okay, or would get stuck lock. And you take it in and they'd fix that door. And then a day later or so, the other door wouldn't lock. Or got stuck locked. Absolute nightmare. And I get in and out. And they would say, just pop in. It wasn't a case of popping in. That's half a day. You lose a day. So you can lose a day taking your car. Because Walton It's not a million miles from here, but it's not just down the road. You see what I mean? And I'd take this car in all the time. And then before I'd finished the term, which is usually 3 years I get a car for, before I'd finished the term, it went in, something serious went wrong with the electrics, and it required a new energy management system, engine management computer, something like that. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, it was still under guarantee and all that, so they fixed that. And I said to him, can I just tell you, I'm nearly out of my warranty now, you know, the period. I was like, how much would this have cost had I have had to pay for it? And remember, bearing in mind, this is like 25 years ago, they said £500. And it was at that point I thought, well, what's going to go wrong next? And then I decided to trade it in for a Land Rover. That was it, a Land Rover Defender. I decided to get rid of the problem, dear. Get rid of it, dear. And it went and in part exchange for a Land Rover Defender. But yeah, the colour was green. It was a nice colour, terribly electrical. So I went from, I think, a Mark III VW. I think that was a Mark IV, the one I had all the electrical trouble with. But bit of a nightmare, really. But yes, it was green, the first one, and that's the same colour as Ronnie's Mini. That is my mate's Mini that he's been test driving for a couple of days. He's taking it back now, and I got in it yesterday. And he's boasting the fact that it's 4-wheel drive and all this, and it's a plug-in hybrid. Okay, a plug-in hybrid. So you plug it in and it charges up. And I think you get about 35 miles on a charge. And then when the juices run out, then it switches itself over to petrol. I don't know if it also charges up when it's going along. I have a hybrid, but not plug-in. So my Toyota charges up as it's going along. If you touch the brakes, if you're going down a hill and you're not using the engine, although you must be in gear, otherwise, well, it's illegal to go without the gear in anyway. But if you come out of gear and roll down a hill, it won't charge. So it self-charges sort of thing. His is a plug-in, so it should be much more efficient than my one because he gets part of it's already plugged in and all that business. Unfortunately, the bloke at the garage didn't give him the charge-in cable. So he went to Waitrose the other day. He said, I'll give it a quick charge here. Because it only takes about 30 minutes for charge on one of those quick plug-in things. And the bloke hadn't given him the cable. And he's looking in the car and he didn't have the cable. So he hasn't been able to plug in and check the economy on it. But I think he was saying it's something like over 100 miles a gallon on that. Which is pretty good. Which is pretty something. So I got in the car. In this 4-wheel drive, we got ice everywhere down my road at the moment. We got to the top of my hill, bar one car in front of us, and the car in front of us has got stuck. And I don't know who was driving it, but it was spinning the wheels faster and faster. It's not going anywhere, and we're sort of we're not right up to its bumper, but we're quite close. I said, you better roll back a bit because I think she's going to start rolling back. And indeed, that did start happening. She was coming back a bit and she could not get up the hill. In the end, I think all three of them got out of the car and they gave it sort of a little bit of a jolt like that, like a slight push, and it got going eventually. So then he said, we'll be all right. We got the 4-wheel drive. No. That got stuck as well. I think the whole road was just a sheet of ice. Anyway, we got going eventually. What you got to do is just roll back on a sort of solid bit and then take a little bit of a fast run up to that bit of ice. And we got over it and did a little bit of shopping. But it's all right. Would I buy one? No, not for me. Not for me. I found it far too small. Even the new Minis, the new Minis of today are nothing like the Minis of the 1960s. I mean, I test drove one of those before, and honestly, your arm's like that. Mind you, that being said, my Land Rover Defender 20-odd years ago, that was a bit similar to that. You may see a big car, but your arm is kind of very, very close to that door. There's no room, to do anything like that, really. And the old Mini was the same. Now, this Mini has definitely got much more room, but I just feel a little bit claustrophobic in one. It's too small for me. Too small for me. The dashboard is fantastic. All lights flashing and flickering away. Yeah, looks very nice. Very nice inside. Comfortable, yes. Did I feel that the seats were any smaller? No. No, but I pretty within a couple of minutes I thought, no, this is not the car for me. I was quite excited by it. You know, I'd love a plug-in car. How on earth I'd charge it from here, I don't know, because my house is not near the garage. Okay, I'm you know, my garage is in a block, so I'm on the end. So that a wire would have to go past 1, 2, 3, 4 houses and across a road. Well, that's not going to happen, is it? So I'd have to have some sort of electrical thing put into my garage. Now, there is a flat upstairs, so presumably they could... I'm not an electrician, but... Oh, my brother-in-law would know. Upstairs, above my garage, is someone's flat. So presumably they could tee off there some electrical supply and give me one in the garage. So that would work. The only other thing is, up at the caravan, where I spend half my life, but not for the next 2 months, that's only a 16-amp supply. And you've only got to have one electrical heater on. Well, that's 8 amps. So I don't think you'd be able to charge it up from a caravan either. So I'm not sure that I'd be able to have one or not. And that's it really. We went into town, into Bracknell town yesterday. I popped into the bank, which was quite busy. Then I went to Morrison's, a few bits and pieces in Morrison's. Then I come back and we had lunch. I done a bit of lunch, chips, baked beans, and I had some beetroot burgers that have been gone out of date actually in the freezer. I don't worry too much about out of date food. Do you? I mean, I don't. I honestly don't. I have a good sniff usually. I don't like that. I'm a bit like that with the milk in the fridge at work. Sometimes there's a tiny little jug of milk. Well, you don't know it's been there like 3 weeks. Like, no, that's all right. Use that. I don't do dates really at all. And then while we were having lunch, we watched the latest episode of Star Trek Discovery, which is on Netflix. Oh, what a fantastic episode that was. It really was. I don't know if you watched Star Trek Discovery. Highly recommended. 100 out of 10 I give it. It's really well done. And right towards the end, one of the stars from last time, I can't remember, the Emperor. The Emperor appears. What happens is they've been talking about Spock. You remember Spock from the original series. And a little baby is born, which is kind of a hybrid, I think. Is it a hybrid human baby? I can't remember now. Whenever this little baby comes and someone nicks it and then she comes, this hooded figure appears with a hood right over. I mean, I thought it was a hoodie. Any moment now is going to try and break in and steal my mobile phone from me. Something like that, you know, as you're walking. Never have your mobile phone out if you're walking along through London. Very dangerous. So this hooded figure appears, and me and my mate said, "Oh, who's that?" I said, "I reckon that's Spock." No, I reckon it's his father. Is his father still alive? I couldn't remember. And this hood came off, and it was the Emperor of kind of Chinesey appearance, and I screamed, like, yes! And I started clapping my hand. She is absolutely my favourite character. And the funny thing is, I don't think when they started making this new series, I don't think she is supposed to be like the big character of there, but that's how she is to me. She's a great actress. In fact, I believe she's been so successful in that part that they've given her her very own series, which they're going to be start filming later on in this year. So looking forward to that. I can't remember what her name was now, but the Emperor was a Dutch. So fantastic episode of Star Trek last night, and I felt rather elated while I was watching it. But I wasn't feeling too well yesterday. You may notice my voice is a bit different today. And last week when I was up at my sister's, my niece had a cold. And I think I've picked that up as well now. So I wasn't feeling too well at all yesterday. So I didn't go swimming. If I don't go swimming, then I do feel ill. Okay, I'll tell you that now. Because nothing stops me swimming. But last night I thought, no, probably not a good idea to go swimming. So we watched that, and then he went home. I went to bed sort of pretty early last night. I actually made a film yesterday. I did do a video yesterday. Because we've been trying to sort out why Maureen is having one of our regular correspondents and viewers, while Maureen has been having trouble watching some of the shows on her TiVo box. Maureen doesn't have the internet sort of as such, but she's got a TiVo box, and she watches a show through a YouTube app on there. And she's been having terrible trouble looking at the back catalogue. She likes to go backwards sometimes. So I went downstairs on my TV downstairs. I signed out and then went onto YouTube as a guest to try and recreate whatever problem she was having, because we can't work out what it is, and she can't work out what it is, and texts have been going backwards and forwards from Maureen, but it would appear that she's now sorted out her problem. So I made this video yesterday, right, which there's no point in showing it to you now, and I'm on the screen, you know, doing the search and other bits and pieces there to try and recreate, but I could see everything. And I when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, well, I can see it all. Why can't she see it all? I can understand if I'd signed in as myself, but I'd signed out. You know, so I was on YouTube as a guest, as in someone who hasn't got an account and doesn't want to sign up. So you can still type stuff in and see it. But I could see everything. The whole playlist, I could see my liked videos, everything. So we don't know why. However, it looks like she's sorted it out, because yesterday on the show, I think I said perhaps reset the box. And she says here, hi Chris, the girl next door came in and reset the app on the box. Everything is working fine now. Thank you for trying to help me. I really appreciate that. So I'm really pleased that Maureen's got a little technical difficulty sorted out there. That makes me very pleased to see that. We get there in the end, don't we? Right, let's just say hello to some of you this morning. Where should we start? Let's start on Facebook this morning. Good morning to Shania. Morning, Shania, on the Isle of Wight. I hope you noticed, Shania, I've moved the show earlier on a Sunday so as not to interfere with your radio broadcast to Isley Widget, and of course online all over the world. Good morning, Shania. Hello to Katie Ann Patterson. Morning, Katie. Wayne is in the house. Morning, Wayne. Adrian is there. Morning, Adrian. He was there last night as well. Diane Jeb. Good morning. Michael Pullman. Good morning, Michael. Mari's there. Hello, Mari, with us live this morning. You're right, Mari. Hello to Gustav. Morning, Chris. Good to see you've put up in sheltered accommodation and that social services have even helped you convert your bedsit into a studio. Hello to Gary Davidson. Could you turn that down, please? What, the new jacket? You like it, don't you, Wayne? You got nothing like this. You want to dress up when you do your karaoke, Wayne. I bet you turn up in a pair of jeans and an old T-shirt, don't you? Gotta look the part. Look the part, dear. He says I'm looking normal. I don't know about that. Hello to Ken Lloyd here, who's in Canada. Morning, Ken. I hope it's even colder there than it is here, isn't it? Was it blue as your varicose veins? What, the Gulf? No. No. I haven't got varicose veins. Hello to Rob Shaggy Kershaw. Morning. Can we have a stand-up twirl of your Sunday jacket? Yeah, of course you can if you want. Here we go. Give us a twirl. Anthea Redburn, the great Bruce Forsyth. Isn't it awful? I've got to tell you, this is, oh dear, this is really tight on my arms, this one. Either that or I've gained a bit of muscle. I don't know which. One of the two. Morning to Julian, who's in sunny Mallorca. Morning, Julian. Engine management system, EMS. That sounds about right. Some sort of computer in the Gulf was giving me loads of trouble. Morning to Lewis Bannerman. Where are you in the world today? Are you abroad or are you in UK, Lewis? And hello to Colin. Did you go dancing last night, Colin? Was you in the place in Greenwich? Is it Greenwich? Yes, the run by that wonderful person. Oh, who I like, the Duchess. I love her. I haven't seen her for a few years now, but whenever we bump into each other, we pick up exactly where we left off from. It's got to be about 6 or 7 years since I last saw her at a charity do when I was working at the place in Clapham, so that was nice. Hello to Joanna Ivola. Morning, Joanna. JP is in the house, the richest guy in the hood. Hello to Coco Bungie, live again this morning, Coco Bungie. Good morning to you. Weird City Citizen, a very good morning to you. Very Dallas-esque with the different videos. Good job. Thank you, Weird City Citizen. Dallas-esque. I'd love a Dallas opening. I don't know if I can find anyone to do a Dallas opening, you know, with the picture that comes up with like 3 pictures. I bet someone would be able to do that. Just a case of finding them out. Weird City Citizen. Minis are massive now. They should change the name to medium. I've got a Suzuki Swift. Oh, I don't know what that is. I don't know what a Suzuki Swift is. I know what a Suzuki is. It's like a little... Is it like a mini Jeep type thing? Mini Jeep type affair, isn't it? A Suzuki Swift, I think. Lewis, oh, he's still in the UK and he's going to Lanzarote on the 12th to the 18th. He likes going abroad. He goes quite local. I say local, not Australia and Thailand. He goes sort of fairly close where you go on holiday, didn't you? Nothing wrong with going somewhere like that, for a bit of warmth. I'll be going to Cyprus at some point in March when my niece moves over there. I was going to go either this month or March. She's not moving over there now till early March. So they kept putting her date back slightly. So I'm looking forward to going over there for a little bit of sunshine in March. If you're watching the show and you haven't got you can't get to a keyboard, then you can text in the show, boys and girls. Text number is up there on the screen, 07551 259 675, okay? 07551 259 675. Colin's not going out yet, still recovering from the broken leg due to the mugging incident. That was last year, wasn't it? Sorry about that, Colin. Not being rude, but of course, as you get older, things do take a lot longer to recover if you've got breaks or anything like that. I remember a couple of times, I think my nan had a couple of things broken, and it takes forever sometimes once you get to that sort of age for things to sort themselves out, don't they? And he's going to Lewis is going to Greece as well. Now, I've not been to Greece. Is that next to Cyprus? Is that on the same? I've got unclassified in geography. Unclassified, so I've no idea. No, Cyprus is on its own, isn't it? But it is quite near. Is it quite near Greece? Is it the same landmass, or is it an island on its own, like the Isle of Wight, but with foreign people? Hello to Martin Edwards. Welcome to the show, Martin. All right. So I had my little sleep yesterday afternoon. Then I went into work. It was the pub's 27th birthday party last night. I only work at one place now, Central Station, which is in Wharfdale Road, King's Cross. I do 3 nights there. I do 2 karaoke nights, Mondays and Fridays, and a little bit of hosting stroke DJing on a Saturday night there. And it was a great night last night. It was busy. The atmosphere was really good. Duncan and Martin are the owners of Central Station. And it's quite amazing to think that 27 years they've had that place. Ups and downs. Everywhere has ups and downs. They went through some very, very difficult times there, I think, possibly losing money while it was going on. But they pulled it back again. I've actually been there twice. I was there some years ago for about a year. But I lost confidence with the manager who was doing all sorts of blooming drugs and drunk all the time, so I came away from it. And then a period of time passed, and then my agent put me back in there. So unfortunately, every time I work at Central Station, unfortunately, I have to send her a little bit of money. It's about 10% or whatever. But that's it. You accept that before you say yes. So, I mean, some of these people, I've got to pay this and I've got to pay that. Well, you signed up to that. You signed up to that, you see. Once you sign up for that, so to me, that's like a gentleman's agreement. So many people try and back out of it, don't they? They've shaken hands. I had this with the estate agent, actually, that looks after the properties. Oh, yes. I had that once. And what happens when I signed up to them 17 years ago, they gave me things, and because I had a few places, they were going to do it at a special rate. I think it's something like 12.5%. So every month, someone pays the rent into the account of the estate agent, and then the estate agent pay me minus 12.5%, and then they add VAT on that, and then there's quite a lot comes out of it. I tell you that now, right? So in effect, it's actually more than 12.5%, but say it was 12.5%, right? And then a few years back, I remember someone had moved out and someone moved in, and the statement came, on the email. And it says, agent's fee, it was like 13. Now, it was a very, very small amount. We're talking £4 or £5 per month. But you see, that's not what I signed up for. And I was on the phone. I said, well, what's this? I said, what were you charging me last time? Oh, it was like 12%. I said, well, it's 12.5 now. Oh, yeah, that's because we've got the new website and all that. I said, well, just a minute. That's not what I signed up for. Yeah, but we've got the new website now, and that's cost a lot of money. I said, well, that's neither here nor there. We signed up on 12%. I'm sorry, sir, it's not negotiable. What do you mean it's not negotiable? I beg your pardon? And I screamed down the phone at them. I said, well, I'll tell you what, and I won't say what I said. I'm very careful not to swear when I'm complaining. I said, that's not the agreement. The agreement was 12%. You don't go back on an agreement. A lot of people try to, or a lot of people do, and the other side accepts it. Well, you should not. If you've shaken hands on an agreement, then that's it. That is the agreement. If you want to talk about it later on, fair enough. But don't you damn well impose a new fee on me when I haven't agreed to it. And I said to them on the phone, I said, well, I'll tell you what. Okay, I say, you put your extra on there. Next time a property becomes empty, you can give it back to me and I'll take my business elsewhere. Well, within 20 minutes, another manager was on the phone to me. We're sorry about that, sir. A lot of people have been complaining about this, and we're going to drop that. And I said, I didn't say thank you. I said, well, I should think so too. You damn well stick to an agreement if an agreement's been made. I've got to say, and I've got to give praise to one of the people I worked for many years. Jimmy was his name. And I was working at a place in Brighton. First of all, he works with me at Camden. I was at Camden, and then he came and took over from a manager the manager that took me on there. So I'd been there the longer. He, after many years, he left there and went down to Brighton, and he took me with him. And I think I was doing Tuesday or Wednesday night. I can't remember. It's a long time ago now. And anyway, he paid me whatever wages, but it never worked. For some reason, it just didn't work. And we could be in there and there'd just be no customers. Or, a handful of customers. And the weeks went on and the months went on and he paid me what the agreement was and this, that and the other. And I started feeling really guilty. Because I was getting this wage, and it was a good wage, very good wage. I was getting this wage, and there was no one there. Hardly anyone there. We're talking like 10 people. 10 people. And I'd leave my house, go all the way to Brighton, do these hours, and come back in the middle of the blooming night. And there was no one there. And eventually I said, look, Jimmy, I said, this is just not working. I'll drop my price for you until it works, because this is just isn't fair. And he says, no. He said, the agreement was this, that's what I'm going to pay you. So absolutely fair dues to him. And I said no, and he wouldn't have any of it. So he just carried on paying me eventually. And I think eventually it got to the point I thought it was, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then there was one day we opened, no one came. No one. And we closed and they paid us. And I think at that point I said, no, let's knock this on the head. This is just ridiculous. And he said, are you sure? I said, yes. I said, I can't be taking money if there's no one here. And funnily enough, there was a place in Hemel Hempstead and now that worked very well there, that I worked at for some time on Friday nights with a bloke called Justin. And it was a good night, and again, he paid a good wage. And then suddenly one week, no one came. And this was in the times where pubs had started closing down. And it really was as quick as that. For weeks and weeks, it was, for years. For years, you could not move in this place. And then suddenly, there was hardly anyone in there. And I think what happened is a pub down the road started doing very cheap drinks. He didn't want to follow suit. So we kept going and he kept paying me. And there was hardly anyone in the pub. And eventually I turned around and said, look, and I classed him as a friend as well. I said, I'm not taking your money. And him, oh, go on, Chris. You can't leave now. I said, look, this is for your benefit, not mine. I said, it makes no difference whether there's anyone here or not to me, because I was in the back room. I wasn't even sort of on the thing, and he would pay me to play this music. And I said to say for him, really, not for me, honestly. I said, I can't. I'm not doing this anymore. I said, I'm not taking your money. There's no one here. You're throwing your money away, and I left. And that was it. So credit where credit is due. But Central Station, as I say, 27 years old last night. Martin and Duncan are the owners, and I get on so well with them. They leave me alone. There's not much more you can want in your life than to be left alone doing a job, not with someone peering over your shoulder all the time. Can you do this? Can you do that? And they don't. Never. Now and again, someone might come up and say, oh, could you mention this? Yeah, that's fine. But no one comes and tells me how to do the job. I mean, if you want to do that, you might as well do it yourself. That's my opinion of people like that. These two don't. They leave me alone. Now and again, Duncan, who's going to be 72 this year, Now and again, at the end of the night or halfway through the night, he'll come up and saying, look at this. Thank you. I just want to say thank you. He does that every few weeks without fail. Isn't that nice? Such nice. And in the time I've been there, I think we're coming up to year 4 now. And for 3 years, gets to the end of the year and says, can I have a little rise? And he says, well, yeah, well, and then he pretends to faint. He says, well, yeah, go on. How much do you want? Now, I'm not a greedy person. Honestly, I'm not. And sometimes people say, look how busy it is. You must be on a fortune. And I never tell them how much. But it's not insignificant. Do you know what I mean? It's a decent wage for a decent night's entertainment type work. And when I ask for a rise, it tends to be a £5. Seriously, it tends to be £5 across all the nights. So can I just have a £5 for the Monday night? Oh, yeah, okay. He goes like that. Because he's Scottish, makes it even worse, doesn't it? I don't know if he's a personal friend of Nicola Sturgeon or something like that. So he gives it to me. And this year came and I tapped him on the shoulder. I said, look, the last 3 years you've given me a rise every single year whenever I've asked for one. This year I'm not asking for one. Thank you for another year's work. And a big smile. He smiled so much his teeth fell out of his bleeding mouth. I'll tell you that now. So it's great to work for them. And we had Cadbury on last night on, as I say, very, very busy night. Fantastic atmosphere, lovely customers, great staff. And now we all worked quite hard last night. We had Cadbury with Dave Lynn, who was awesome. And he opened the pub 27 years ago, apparently, which I didn't know. And he's still doing the same show. I'm only joking, but a great show, great night in there. Last night I got back here, I jumped in the car after the show. I finish when the show finishes, really. I give a rundown of what else is happening during the week, and then I leave there, jumped in my car, very easy journey on the way home. Got back here, though. Here in Bracknell, we've got some really bad ice on the ground at the moment, so I come down. I go in low gear number 1, because it's quite a steep hill coming down to my house, and come around the corner. And Friday night, Saturday morning, I had trouble getting into the garage. There's a bit of ice right in front of my garage, and it literally slips over to the side. And I realised I've got a bucket that I hold my garage doors open like that, sideways rather than up and over. And I realised I've got a bucket of sand there, which I put against the door to stop it closing when it's windy. And I thought, I wonder. So I sprinkled some sand on top of the ice directly in front of the garage, and the car went in no problem. So there's a little tip there. I mean, I've seen people do it before, and I've thought to myself, oh, well, what difference can a bit of sand make on top of the ice? A lot is the answer to that. The car just fell into that garage. So there's a good tip there to be learnt. Perhaps always carry a small bag of sand in your car. But you don't want it opening. You never get all those little bits of grit out, would you? And that was it. And then I'll come back here, went to bed, and here we are this morning. All right? Good morning. Let's just scroll back there, my darlings. There we are. Lewis says there's a few different Greek islands. Not sure how close they are to Cyprus, but they are completely separate. Yeah, Cyprus is an island on its own, I think. But that's where I'll be going at some point in March for a week or so. Rob says, talking of Greenwich, why is GMT, British clock, associated with Greenwich and not any other city? Oh, I think they've got that's where isn't it the meteorological office or no, the National Maritime place is there. And I think the whole, when Britain was a big, run other countries, what's it called? Oh gosh, I can't remember what that's called. When we were running other countries and things like that, I think it was decided that Greenwich would be the place where the line goes through it, and all other time throughout the world would be adjusted in accordance with Greenwich. So there's your line there, and then it's +1 as you go around all the countries on that line there. Is it longitude and latitude lines? Something like that, I think it is. And so they chose Greenwich for some reason, that all these lines going through. All right, so that's why that is. Adrian, don't forget you can put the commission against your tax. Of course I do that, Adrian. You don't think I don't know that, mate? But thank you for the comment. Yeah. I mean, as a self-employed person, you can put an awful lot against your tax. That's not tax avoidance. That's quite legal. So anything I spend out to do with my business, I can claim back, including agents' fees. And don't worry, every single penny I put down. I'm always very careful, if I've got to pay someone, to use a credit card rather than cash all the time. Now and again, I might pay cash because then you've got the proof there. No one can come back and say, well, he didn't give me the money. Well, he did because it's a bank transfer. Every Saturday morning, that's when I do it on Saturday mornings usually. Every Saturday morning, I bring up my agent's name on there and I transfer. I have to pay her 50 quid a week. That's how much I pay, 50 quid a week. All right, so I have to sign, I type that, push a button, off it goes, and then I print out the bit of paper. The reason I print it out is I didn't used to print them out, but she wasn't very good at keeping an eye on things. And she'd ring me months down the line and say, oh, hi, honey. I'm just doing some bookwork here. I can't find the payment for so-and-so. And I'd have to then go online and then find where the payment is. So, and then she said, oh, yes, I can see it now. That's all right. Well, you're not doing the bloody job properly, are you then? I'm doing your accounts for you. So now, every single time I pay her, so I don't have to do that, I print out the bit of paper. Here, look. She's got her own file in the cabinet here. Look, here we are. Look at this lot. Look at this lot here. Hang on a minute. Let me pull them all out. Look at this. There you go. Look at this lot. That is all her payments, week by week. I double-side, you see. Double-sided paper. Don't waste paper. Use both sides. That's all her payments since what's that date on there? 15th of... oh, hang on a minute. Where's the bloody date on it? Oh, that's since 2016. I keep them all now. So if anyone comes... she comes back, I just send her the lot of paper. There you go. Sort it out yourself. So you must keep a paper trail of anything you do out like that. But yes, you're quite right. Commission against tax. So not really losing it to your agent, as she's pretty worth every single penny. Really? You think so? Michael Lawrence. Good morning, Michael. All right. Hello to Chrissy boy. Hello to Duke. Chris, you working today, Chris? In the old office? With those people doing their bettings? Ray Reynolds is in the house. Good morning, Ray. Paul Adamson. The timeline goes through the observatory. There you go. There's your answer there from Paul Adamson. Thank you very much, Paul. Katie Ann Patterson says, hug a tree. Not in London. There aren't any. Hello to Steve David Christopher. A very good morning to you, Steve. All right. Hug a tree. There's a lot of trees waiting to be hugged out there, I tell you. In the papers this morning, Amazon have got a good idea. Or you may, I don't know how this is going to work, actually. This is in the Daily Mail this morning. And it says your next Amazon package could be delivered on a bus. On a bus. Oh, yes. The internet giant has filed a patent for a new mobile package pickup system where items are placed in secure containers, either inside or affixed to a bus. Users would then be notified of a bus with their package that's closest to them, eliminating the need to walk or drive to a pickup location. So that's interesting. I don't know how that's going to work. Really strange how that's going to work. They say after a package is ordered, users are given an authorization code that they can use to get into the storage compartment. They'd enter the code on a touchscreen device or a keypad, or it might include biometric scanners like one of those fingerprint readers. Now, I got to say to you, I've got an iPhone thing here. My fingerprint reader there, right? Okay? I keep redoing it, and it works for about a day, and then it stops working again. Has anyone else got that problem with their iPhone? Literally, you're supposed to be able to do that, okay? And then it just opens up, and it doesn't. It says, it doesn't recognise the finger. Is that a known problem with iPhones, I wonder? That fingerprint thing. It just doesn't work. Doesn't work. And I have to keep putting the code in. It says the patent also describes being able to swipe your credit card to receive a package. So that would be quite easy. Put your card and the door opens, I suppose. It may be equipped with a vending machine that accepts money in exchange for purchase of stamps, labels, envelopes and other items, so that users can ship or deliver other packages. So you can put your package yourself on the bus. Now, I'm not quite sure how this works. It says here, customers would be given a range of options for where and when they'd be able to pick up the package. A user may choose to have the items delivered to a mobile pickup location on a public bus, which the user takes every day travelling from the office to home, or which stops at a bus stop that is convenient for the user, the patent reads. Also, in regions where carriers for delivering items are rare or prohibitively expensive, a mobile pickup location may be utilised to deliver items such to a rural village. So I don't know how this is going to work, though. I mean, on a public bus, you see, it's all very well coming out with that idea. You know, so your item's going to be on the 11:32, which will arrive at so-and-so. What if you're late? Or the bus is late? You know, maybe it breaks down round the corner. You're standing at this bus stop waiting for your package to arrive. Also, is it not just going to slow down the process of people getting on and off buses? You just imagine it, you know, the bus gets... Because sometimes there's no one at the stops, is there? Bus gets to the stop, doors open, and you know, and you can't get your package. Oh, I can't get my package out, mate. Can you hang on a minute? And there's all these people waiting on the bus. I don't see how that's going to work. It's a good idea when you first hear it, but I mean, I understand they've got Amazon lockers outside the Morrisons here in the UK, here in Bracknell, which is a good idea, I suppose. Great big lockers they are, and you just, I don't know how it works. You put a code in or put your key in or something and collect your package like that. I mean, it's a good idea. It stops people waiting in at home. Isn't nothing worse than waiting at home, is there, for a blooming package to arrive? It really isn't. Good morning to Maureen. Maureen is in the house this morning. Morning to you, Maureen. I'm glad we're all sorted there on your TiVo box. TiVo. Adrian, your finger might be dirty, greasy or wet. That's why you're no good at fingering your phone. Well, okay. Let's give it a quick clean and we'll see what happens. Right, here we go. Where are we then? That's my sister, by the way. Look. Oh, asked for the code again. And that's what keeps happening, that thing. It's most annoying. Most annoying trying to get my iPhone open there. We've only got time for one more story because I've got to go to church shortly. I go to a later mass now. Now, have you got a dog? This surprised me. Oh, just from Paul Adamson. Never had problems with iPhone fingerprint unlocking. The software forces you to enter the code if you've not unlocked with fingers for something like 48 hours. That's for security. Unlock with my face these days. Oh, you've got one of those, have you? Well, you look at it. My mate's got one of those. But, yeah, I mean, if I unlock that now with my special number, which I'm hiding from you. I've unlocked it with my special number. There it is. Unlocked with my special number there. Okay, now we'll lock it. Okay, now we'll lock it. Now let's try and open it again. Nothing. Try. Now it's asked for the number again, see? Now it's asking for the number again. So I don't know. It just keeps stopping working for some reason. Very strange. Might have to reload the program into your iPhone. That might help. There isn't a program to load in it, is there, for the fingerprint? It's part of the operating system, as far as I know. Ring up Apple Helpline. I haven't got time to sit there listening to helplines. Oh, I ring helplines as an absolute last resort. Press 1, press 2. Oh, we're very busy. We're unusually busy at the moment. Oh, have you noticed? Every time you ring up a company, they are, and I quote, unusually busy at the moment. Call back later. Every single time. Dear. Okay, so dogs. Katie's got 3 dogs. Now, this surprised me. It's in the Daily Mirror this morning. A dog owner is urgently warning others to be vigilant after her dog's paws were burnt off in icy grass. Now, I always assumed cats and dogs' paws were virtually indestructible. You know, other than a cut from a piece of glass. I just assumed that cold weather wouldn't affect them. But no, this is not the case. This lady was taking her 7-year-old border collie. Beautiful. Oh, I had a border collie when I was married. Oh, beautiful dogs. Such nice. What was her name? Lady. Oh, she was so friendly, she was. She was taking her 7-year-old border collie for a walk at Kempsey when the dog started refusing to walk. She then saw blood on the grass And when the senior client care manager checked the paws, she was horrified to see the bottom of his feet had been burnt away. Did you know this? I never knew that. She believes it was due to the ice that has set in overnight on the ground. The dog Chase was rushed to the vet where his feet were cleaned, dressed, and he was administered with pain relief before receiving laser treatment to help with the healing, resulting in him being left unable to walk for the next 2 weeks. That poor little thing. There's a picture of the dog there looking all sad and what have you, and a picture of his feet, which look absolutely red raw. I never knew this. The lady from Worcester said, when we were coming back from our normal morning walk, we noticed blood on the frosty grass and Chase was not wanting to walk. I could see that the bottom of his paws had appeared to burn off. So my partner quickly picked him up and rushed him to the car to the vet where he had his feet clean, dressed and was given some pain relief. Poor little... It's a thing with pets, isn't it? You know, when they're ill, you don't know. They can't... I mean, you can tell, actually. Hey, look at my mate's cat. My mate's cat has recently had a brain tumour removed at enormous expense. But leading up to that diagnosis, it was just acting strange and no one really knew, and all these tests were done and this, that and the other. And he spent, let me tell you, a small fortune on that cat. He is going to come up and talk to us about it at some point. But that poor cat of my mate's, dear. But it's recovering very, very slowly now, very slowly. So that's good news. Katie says, no, they can get burnt on hot roads too. I didn't know that. I never knew that with animals' paws. I thought they were pretty indestructible, but that's not the case at all, is it? There we are. Shania, enjoyed church. I went to church yesterday. I was supposed to go at 11 o'clock today as well, but not feeling 100%. Oh, you neither. No, I'm not either. I'm not either. We'll see how my singing goes today. It might not be as good, as powerful as it normally is, Shania. All right. Okay, Sunday's birthdays then, boys and girls. Happy birthday today to Mr. Paul Dow. Happy birthday, Paul. Very, very good friend of mine. Has lost an enormous lot of weight over on the slimming world. Happy birthday, Paul. David Simpson. Good morning, David. I think you're away on holiday at the moment. Where's my mouse gone? There it is. A very good morning to David Simpson. Happy birthday to you, sir. And Diane Brearley. Morning, Diane. It's her birthday as well. On this Sunday, the 3rd of February, 2019. Ba-ba-da-da-da. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Enjoy your Sunday, boys and girls. Lovely to speak to you this morning. Always my mate on the phone as well. How it's all going on. I must go. Have a lovely day and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye now.